Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. I felt compelled to do another video. I really did. I was about to rush out to work, and then people are putting certain comments on my first video today talking about even a bull. He said, but look at the weekly registrations. Well, this is one of the main reasons why the Chinese government was told Li Auto and the rest to stop sharing weekly numbers, because the real investor don't care about the weekly numbers, but the majority of retail investors are not real investors. They buy, but they don't look at the long game. One of my idols, the great living legend Warren Buffett, invested based on years, not weeks, not months, and that's how he created his empire. So no matter how many times he's said this, people still don't get it. And when you believe in a business model and you understand that it's going to take time to build out a superior business model where you're selling an experience, not an EV. Tesla sells EVs, Xpeng sells EVs, Xiaomi sells EVs, BYD sells EVs, NIO sells an experience. And once you experience it, you will always come back. In fact, they did a poll where every single NIO owner said they will only buy another NIO when upgrading. When their car becomes, in their eyes old, they will get another NIO car. However, the poll also showed that almost every other EV company, when someone buys one of their cars, they will shop around for a different experience to see what else is out there. This is the difference. And once you understand the long game, you will, and understand what NIO is building and doing, you will understand that NIO eventually will be the behemoth, the numero uno, the number one. Yes, indeed. But you must have vision to see that. If you don't have vision, you should sell your shares, but never cry. A grown man don't cry. So what's happening? Well, Onvo weekly sales edged up a little bit along with NIO. Firefly went down just a little. And people, oh my God, the sky is falling, Mitch. And I said, shut your mouth and pull your pants up, boy. Be a man. It takes time. Firefly is a brand new brand that they just brought out. Onvo is a brand new brand that they now, and you see this, it's starting to scale back up again due to the marketing efforts. You see that we're going into many other countries this year, but yet you're looking at weekly registrations. Wake up, man. So what else is happening? Well, I've always said it's a game. I've always said that. And I've said it before, even in the comment sections, if you guys pay attention, that Wall Street, NIO is going to run only when crooked Wall Street says so. And only when they have no choice but to allow us to run. What do I mean by that? Well, when they see that we're getting ready to become profitable, when they see the measures that NIO is implementing to ensure that, and they understand that it's time for them to get back in, and they've already gotten back in, by the way, it's time to allow it to run. And one of the biggest propaganda machine on the stock market is Goldman Sachs. And why do I say that is because it doesn't matter what Deutsche Bank, Bank of America, Citicorp, none of them, it doesn't matter what their analyst says. For some reason, the cattle, the sheep, the 99% listens to Goldman Sachs, even though I've explained it on many occasions. And I gave a great example of Goldman Sachs saying that Jamie Dimon, the CEO, said, if any one of his employees put Bitcoin onto any portfolio, he will fire them. Bitcoin tanked at that point, and then they jumped in and bought. But Jamie Dimon did not have to go to jail. He did not have to pay a fine. This is the game in America and on Wall Street. So once you understand the game, you're ready to make money. So now what is happening? The biggest propaganda machine on Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, just said on Tuesday, today, they upgraded its rating of NEO US listed shares to neutral from sell. It's no longer a sell. So now that they're saying it's neutral, the 99% and the sheep will say, oh, it's not a sell, huh? And they wait like a sheep, bah, bah, waiting for the bell to ring again. It says, citing expectations that the Chinese electric vehicle maker cost reduction initiatives will help narrow losses over the next 3 years. Let me say that again. To neutral from sell, citing expectations that the Chinese electric vehicle makers' cost reduction initiatives will help narrow losses over the next 3 years. But what type of cost reduction? You see, the sheep will wait for Goldman Sachs to say, it's a buy. And no, it's a buy. It's time to buy. And they buy. While we sit back because we've been buying. We upgraded NEO to neutral from sellers. We believe management cost reduction efforts would help improve the company's profit levels over the next 3 years by 4% to 10%, they said. When we know it's going to be more than that. So even if we sell the same amount of cars as last year, with cost reduction, with in-house technology, with us buying less things like chips and different things from other manufacturers, our margins will increase. However, for the rest of the playing field, except for Xiaomi, the rest of the playing field has to increase the amount of cars that they're selling dramatically over and over and over to make profits. We don't have to do that. It says the company logged a net loss of 6.75 billion yuan, about 930 million for the first quarter, widening 30% from a year ago, but narrowing 5% from the previous quarter. Analyst Tina Hu lifted the rating and raised the 12-month price target slightly to 380 from 370 previously. Imagine a company like this, they're saying it's $3.70. And this is the game. And this is when we're supposed to also do what Citicorp did. Well, of course, we can't buy 31 million plus shares like them in the first quarter, but we do what the whales are doing by keep buying. Because we look at what the company is doing, not what the share price is doing. The target for the Hong Kong listed shares was increased to 29.50 from 29 Hong Kong dollars. The new price target implies an upside of 8% based on Monday's closing price. So they see what's coming and they're starting to uplift it now. The EV maker said this Tuesday it is adjusting its business model in Denmark, excuse me guys, one of its European markets after signing a distribution agreement with a local partner. Our new 12-month DCF base target price is $3.80 US dollars prior to $3.70. And 8% to 7% upside versus our covered OEM average of 4%, who wrote. Goldman Sachs had downgraded NEO to sell late November 2024, citing widening net losses and cash outflows. But while Goldman Sachs was saying that, Al was saying look to the future, because this is the game. Back then, they were not saying that NEO is getting ready to do this, that, the next. No. They don't tell you that. This is where critical thinking, common sense come into play, and you have to do that on your own. It says since then, the stock has fallen about 25%, allowing Citicorp and the rest to buy. Underperforming the S&P 500, 1% gain and 37% increase in Goldman's covered new energy vehicle peers. In February, Hu raised her price target to 390 from 350 while maintaining the sell rating. She was still saying it's a sell, implying about 11% downside at the time. Of course, because they're telling you it's a sell, and they say, and then it's just like the Pupavosian guy, excuse me guys, he would come out and say, same thing, it's a sell, blah, blah, blah. And then he would do another video later on and say, see, I told you guys it was sell, the stock went down. Anyway, earlier in January, she had cut the target by 40 cents to 350 amid concerns, she said, over the production ramp-up of NEO's mass-market sub-brand Onvo. Last week, NEO Group, which includes the NEO, Onvo, and Firefly brand, saw insurance registration in China rise to 4,730 units, an increase of 9.2% week over week, which is not a lot, I admit. But remember, that 9.2% week over week increased. All of these cars' margins are also increasing because of the in-house technology. Critical thinking, common sense, my dear lads. All of those people are using battery swap stations. Common sense and critical thinking, my dear lads. Or at least 80% of them. The management said at the latest earnings call it expects the core NIO brand to deliver 25,000 units per month in the final quarter of the year, while the Encore brand is planned to reach another 25,000 monthly units at the end of the year. But people are saying, what happened to last week and the week before? And what about next week? This doesn't go by weeks, boy. NIO expects to double its deliveries this year to about 440,000 units as it sets the fourth quarter as its target to reach profitability. The company will start to sell its NIO and Firefly brands in over a dozen new markets over the next 18 months, including Portugal, Greece, Cyprus, Bulgaria, Belgium, Hungary, Luxembourg, Poland, Romania, and the Czech Republic. And the Firefly just started testing in Australia, the right-hand drive. Boom! But yet you worry about 1 week registration. Outside Europe, the company is planning to expand to Singapore and Azerbaijan later this year. We also know we're going into Latin America this year. A right-hand drive Firefly model was spotted in Melbourne in Australia, suggesting the NIO sub-brand is testing its debut model in the country. So, whilst others panic and poop in their pants, smelly poop, just like a Tesla Model 3, Model Y, Model X, the stainless steel refrigerator that they push around, I keep buying. What are you doing? I hope you guys found this video yet again to be informational, inspirational, and motivational. If so, guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so. Because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level up as to how the game is played on Wall Street. Line 50 said we get rich or we die trying, guys.